Elvis and Nixon. How did that photograph come to be real? So I got to watch Elvis and Nixon, and it's basically the story of how the photograph between Elvis and Nixon became a reality. And it follows the story of Elvis as he goes undercover, dressed as Elvis. You dress like somebody else if you're going undercover, right? Anyhow, Michael Shannon plays Elvis, and he wants a badge, a federal badge. So he arranges to meet with Nixon, who's played by Kevin Spacey, and he does quite a good impression of Nixon. Doesn't take it overboard, you can tell it's still Kevin Spacey, and Kevin Spacey is one of those actors that is great at impersonations. If you ever watch him on an interview where he's asked to do impersonations, he's really good at it, he's got the skill set for it. So, going into the film, I really liked Nixon, but I didn't really buy Elvis. I didn't think Michael Shannon looked enough like Elvis. You know, he gave the thank you very much and stuff like that, you know, reminds you of Elvis and the dress sense and everything. And you got to see a bit into Elvis's soul in a sense, where he is a bit disappointed at being a product and not a person. But for me, the story, it was very much dialogue orientated, and you know, I quite like those stories. I liked Hateful Eight, and that was very dialogue orientated, and there were a bit of humour involved, but the story didn't seem to go anywhere. It was one that I could have not watched and it wouldn't have made any difference, to be honest. It's simply a story that's quite short, and it's just about the lead up to the meeting. Evan Peters, who you might remember as Quicksilver in X-Men Days of Future Past and Apocalypse, he has a role in it, and they didn't really use his comic chops that they could have done, but his role didn't apply. I'm not really sure why he was cast in this film. It wasn't necessary to have the actor who's capable of, you know, comedic timing and stuff like that. So it was a bit of a waste, all in all. With all that being said, you know, I got a few laughs out of there, but the majority of the movie I was bored. So I can't really give it any higher than a 5 out of 10. Now, that's not to say it's a bad film by any stretch of the imagination, it just doesn't really go anywhere. It's a nice little watch to put on the background. I wouldn't necessarily recommend going to the cinemas to watch it, though I assume with the scale of the movie it will be on a streaming service pretty soon after its Blu-ray and DVD release. So, that's my review. Unfortunately, I didn't do any, I didn't take my action camera out with me and record my thoughts coming down and back. That's simply because, one, usually I'm able to hide my action camera. I don't want to be suspicious. I'm not filming the film. In fact, I don't even have a memory card in there capable of recording a full movie. But usually I like to put a big coat on so I can just hide it, and it saves any questions and everything like that. Plus, I didn't feel like the movie needed the action cam, my immediate response. It's not a very hyped movie, it's very much a small independent movie. So 5 out of 10. Yeah, I kind of recommend watching it if you're into your indie films and your dialogue orientated films. But if you need a lot of action, a lot of jokes, if you need a lot more from your movie, then I'd recommend giving this one a miss. But did you see it? And if you did, write your comments below. I've seen a lot of good reviews for it. So, I don't always agree with the reviews. Maybe you do. And if you do, put on some points why you liked it. It might help broaden my perspective, and I might end up changing my mind. But at the minute, it stands at 5 out of 10, and I feel like that's pretty much a fair result for it. Now, I'm not necessarily an Elvis fan, though I do like some of his songs, so maybe that's why I'm not so hyped on it. Maybe it's because I live in England. In America it's like a piece of history, and in England it isn't so much. It's just a photograph between a celebrity and a political leader. That's simply all it is. I'm not really bothered about watching a celebrity get a badge I in fact think that that's a bit dodgy in itself. You should earn a badge, you shouldn't just get one. But that's that. So like I said, leave your comments below. As always, keep safe, keep real, and until next time, catch you later.
That's how I learned to develop these knuckles of steel. Now slap them. Come on, harder, harder. Let it out. Let it out. Those are the steel claws of a tiger, Mr. President.